My wife handed me paternity test results at our kitchen table on a Tuesday morning, 99.8% match to the man I'd walk my daughter down the aisle to marry. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this really started. Sunday afternoon, February. I'd just come home from coaching a JV baseball scrimmage at Riverside High, where I've been principal for 12 years, 26 years in education total. I know most of my 2,100 students by name. The staff, all 140 of them, they're like family. I walked through the front door, expecting quiet. Maybe Kathleen watching HGTV with a glass of wine. Normal Sunday stuff. Instead, I found my wife drunk at 2 in the afternoon. She was sitting at the kitchen table. That cheap Chardonnay she thinks I don't know about, already half empty. The plastic bottle was on the counter. I could hear it crinkle when she'd grabbed it. That sharp, acidic smell hung in the air. I'd been finding those bottles for 15 years, hidden behind the laundry detergent, tucked in the back of cabinets. The cabinet door in the laundry room has this creak. I'd heard it at 2 a.m. more times than I could count. "Kathleen," I said, "it's 2 o'clock. She looked up at me with red-rimmed eyes, started crying, not the gentle kind of crying, the messy, drunk kind that comes with hiccups and smeared mascara. "I need to tell you something," she said. Her words were slurred at the edges. "I'm pregnant." The world went very still. Kathleen and I, we hadn't been intimate in 4 months, maybe longer. I'd been consumed with school, budget presentations, preparing for state testing, mediating a conflict between 2 department heads. She'd been busy with real estate, selling houses, or so I thought. "Pregnant," I repeated. My voice sounded far away, like it belonged to someone else. She nodded, crying harder. "I need you to be happy about this." That's when I knew. You don't ask someone to be happy. You tell them you're happy, and they catch it from you. But when you have to ask for the performance, that's when you know the truth is ugly. "Kathleen." I pulled out the chair across from her, sat down slowly. "When exactly did this happen?" She wouldn't meet my eyes. I didn't sleep that night. Lay there in the dark, staring at the ceiling, doing math I didn't want to do. 4 months since we'd been together. If she was far enough along to know, to tell me, the timeline didn't work. Monday morning, I went to work like nothing had changed. Because that's what you do when you're a high school principal. You show up. You smile at students in the hallway. You mediate disputes. You approve field trip forms. You pretend your entire life isn't cracking down the middle. I was in my office reviewing the schedule for graduation, May 30th, just 13 weeks away, when Gary knocked on my door. Gary Mitchell, history teacher, my best friend for 20 years. We'd started at Riverside the same year, back when we were both young and idealistic and thought we could change the world one teenager at a time. "Daniel," he said, "can we talk? Close the door?" That's when I knew something was really wrong. Gary never closed the door unless it was serious. He sat down across from my desk, put his phone face down on the surface between us, looked at me like he was about to tell me someone had died. "I don't know how to say this," he started. "Just say it." He picked up his phone, turned it toward me. Phone records, screenshots of text messages, hundreds of them, between 2 numbers. "Kathleen's number," he said, pointing to one. "And this one," he pointed to the other. I recognized the area code, did some digging. "Whose is it?" Gary took a breath. "Tyler Caldwell." Tyler, my daughter's fiancé, the personal trainer at Riverside Fitness, the kid I'd... Wait, Tyler Caldwell, I said slowly. "Tyler graduated from here, 2015. Gary nodded. "You wrote his college recommendation letter." I sat back in my chair. The office suddenly felt too small. Tyler had been my student, varsity football, good kid, or so I'd thought, charismatic, popular. I'd been proud when he'd come back to Riverside, when Rebecca had started dating him. I don't know what I thought, that he was one of the success stories, one of the kids who came back home and made something of himself. "How long?" I asked. Based on the texts, at least 8 months, maybe longer. 8 months, right around the time Rebecca got engaged. Gary slid his phone closer. "There's more. Look at the location tags on his Instagram." I didn't want to look, but I did. Post after post, checked in at restaurants I recognized, places Kathleen had said she was meeting girlfriends or clients, timestamps matching the text conversations. "And Daniel," Gary's voice dropped. Look at this one. It was a photo from Rebecca's engagement party. 8 months ago, we'd held it at our house. Family, friends, people from the church. About 50 people. Rebecca was glowing in that picture, Tyler's arm around her. But in the background, you could see them. Kathleen and Tyler, standing too close. The way he was looking at her, Gary tapped the screen. Check the timestamp on these texts. I scrolled. Messages sent during the party. From Tyler's number to Kathleen's. You look incredible tonight. Meet me outside in 5. Can't wait to get you alone. All sent while we were celebrating my daughter's engagement. While I was shaking Tyler's hand and welcoming him to the family. Gary, I said. My voice was shaking. Kathleen told me yesterday she's pregnant. Gary went pale. Jesus, Daniel. We haven't been together. Not for months. He didn't say anything. Didn't need to. We both knew what that meant. Does anyone else know? I asked. No. But people are starting to notice things. The way Tyler acts around her at the gym. Michelle saw them in the parking lot last week and thought it was weird. Teachers talk. Michelle Rodriguez, my vice principal. She'd been with me for 8 years. Sharp. Didn't miss much. I looked at Gary's phone screen again. All those texts, all those lies. When exactly did this happen? I'd asked Kathleen. Now I knew. That night, I couldn't stop myself. I went to my home office and started digging through old files, looking for I don't know what. Evidence that I was wrong, evidence that Tyler wasn't who I thought he was. Evidence that this was all some horrible mistake. I found the file labeled Student Recommendations 2014-2015. Pulled out the folder, flipped through until I found his name. The paper had yellowed slightly over 10 years, but my handwriting was still clear. Blue ink, now faded to gray. There was a coffee ring on the upper right corner. I remembered writing this at my desk on a Saturday morning while Rebecca was at volleyball practice. She was 15 then, just a kid. The Riverside High School letterhead was at the top, the seal embossed, raised just enough that you could trace it with your fingertip. It made a small bump in the middle of the school name. I read what I'd written, what I'd told colleges about Tyler Caldwell. Tyler is a young man of exceptional character. His leadership on the football field is matched only by his integrity off it. I have watched him grow from an uncertain freshman into a confident, principled senior. He treats teachers with respect, mentors younger students, and consistently demonstrates the kind of moral courage that is rare in young people. I can say without reservation that Tyler Caldwell will make his family proud. Any university would be fortunate to have him. My signature at the bottom, bold, confident. A principal vouching for a student he believed in. I'd written this. I'd believed every word. I'd told universities Tyler Caldwell was a man of character. And now he was sleeping with my wife, getting her pregnant, while engaged to my daughter. I held the letter in both hands. The embossed seal pressed into my thumb. 10 years of trust. 10 years of believing I was a good judge of character. 10 years of thinking I could mentor kids, guide them, help them become better people. The paper tore easily. Sharp sound in the quiet office. I tore it again and again. Let the pieces fall into the trash can by my desk. If you've ever trusted someone you shouldn't have, someone who seemed good on the surface, just type "trusted" in the comments. Sometimes the signs are only clear when you're looking back. I sat there in the dark, looking at the empty space where the letter had been. Thought about all the times I'd seen Tyler at family dinners, at church, at Rebecca's classroom when he'd helped her move furniture, the way he'd called me Principal Martinez even after graduation, that respectful tone. All of it was a lie. Or maybe it wasn't. Maybe he had been that kid once, and somewhere along the way he'd become someone else. Either way, I'd been blind. The next morning, Tuesday, I went to Riverside Fitness. Kathleen had a membership there. Had been going 5 times a week for the past 18 months. Getting healthy, she had said. Taking care of myself. The girl at the front desk knew me. Half my students worked there part-time. Hi, Principal Martinez. Here for a day pass? Actually, I need to check something on my wife's account, Kathleen Martinez. There's been some confusion about her billing. Oh, sure. Let me pull that up, she typed. Pulled up the account on her screen, turned it toward me. Here's her check-in history for the past 6 months. Looks like she's been super consistent. 5 days a week, usually around She scrolled. Wow, kinda random times. Morning some days, evening others, couple of lunch hour check-ins. Can you print that for me? Sure, the printer hummed. She handed me the paper. I looked at the timestamps. Cross-referenced them mentally with Tyler's training schedule, the one Rebecca had mentioned casually over Sunday dinners, complaining that she barely saw him because he was always at the gym. Every single one of Kathleen's check-ins matched a time when Tyler was working. Morning sessions. Tyler trained his early clients 6:48 a.m. Kathleen checked in at 6:15 a.m. Evening sessions. Tyler worked 5-7 p.m. Kathleen checked in at 5:30 p.m. Lunch sessions. Tyler had a 2-hour break from 12:02. Kathleen checked in at 12:45 p.m. Is there anything else you need? The girl asked. Actually, yes. Do you keep security footage? Her face changed slightly. Yes, but I'd need manager approval to. Please let your manager know I'll be calling about that. I walked out, the check-in history folded in my pocket. Found Kathleen's car in the parking lot. She was inside, probably wrapping up a showing for a client. Her purse was on the passenger seat, visible through the window, and sitting on top of it, her gym membership card. Bright blue plastic key card with Riverside Fitness's logo, her name printed in white letters. The edges were rough from being swiped so many times, the barcode on back partially worn off. I could hear it clicking on her keyring when she moved. All those times she'd kissed me goodbye, said she was going to the gym. All those times she'd come home showered and flushed, claiming she'd had a great workout. The gym manager's face went pale when I called that afternoon. Principal Martinez, he said carefully, are you sure you want to see the security footage? Friday night, 6:30 p.m. The school parking lot was mostly empty. Baseball practice had just ended. My JV team was getting good. Their swings were improving. I'd spent an hour watching them drill, shouting encouragement, pretending everything was normal. Tyler's car was still there, silver Honda, parked by the gym entrance. He'd been helping coach the football team through their off-season conditioning. Giving back, he'd said when he'd volunteered. I'd approved it. Thought it was great that one of our alumni wanted to help. I waited by my car. Principal Daniel Martinez, 51 years old, 26 years in education, standing in a parking lot, waiting to confront the kid I'd once written a college recommendation letter for, the kid who was now sleeping with my wife and engaged to my daughter. Tyler came out about 15 minutes later. Gym bag over his shoulder, saw me and smiled. That easy, charming smile that had probably won over dozens of people. Principal Martinez! Hey, didn't know you were still here? Tyler, I kept my voice even. We need to talk. His smile faltered slightly. Sure. What's up? I pulled out my phone. Showed him the screenshot Gary had sent me. The text messages. Tyler's face went white. I can explain. Don't. I cut him off. Don't you dare lie to me in a church parking lot. School parking lot, he said automatically. Then realized what he'd said. I know about the affair, I know about the phone records, the gym check-ins, the texts during Rebecca's engagement party. I know everything. He stepped back, looked around, making sure no one was watching. The security cameras were recording. I knew that. Part of me was glad. Evidence. Principal Martinez, listen. I wrote you a recommendation letter, I said. My voice was shaking now. 10 years ago. I told colleges you were a young man of exceptional character. I told them you had integrity. I vouched for you. I was a kid then. You're 28 years old. You're not a kid. You're a grown man who's been sleeping with your fiancé's mother, who got her pregnant. Tyler's jaw dropped. She told you? So he'd known. They'd both known. How long, Tyler? How long have you known the baby was yours? He ran his hand through his hair, looked away. A couple weeks? She took a test. We were trying to figure out what? How to lie to me, how to lie to Rebecca, how to make me think it was mine. No, we didn't plan this. It just happened. It just happened, I repeated. 8 months, hundreds of text messages, meeting at hotels, at my house during my daughter's engagement party, that all just happened. You don't understand. Kathleen was lonely. You were never there. You were always at school, always with your students, always... So you're blaming me, I laughed. It sounded harsh even to my own ears. That's your defense? I was a bad husband, so you decided to sleep with my wife while dating my daughter? Rebecca doesn't have to know. We can figure this out. We can tell Rebecca I destroyed her, I said. The words felt like ice. That's what you said in one of your texts, remember? You tell Rebecca, you destroy her. But you know what, Tyler? You already destroyed her. You just haven't let her find out yet. I pulled out the note cards from my pocket, my assembly speech notes, the ones I'd been carrying for 12 years, worn soft from handling, the corners rounded, my handwriting on the top card. Actions have consequences, but consequences build character. I'd given that speech to thousands of students, including Tyler. I'm ordering a paternity test, I said. Tonight, and when it comes back, because we both know what it's going to say, you're going to face the consequences. You're going to lose everything, Tyler said. His voice was rising. Your daughter, your reputation, the school, they're going to find out their principal couldn't even keep his own family together. You're going to lose it all because you can't just let this go. Let it go. I stared at him. You want me to let it go? Think about what's best for your daughter. I am thinking about my daughter. That's why I'm not going to let her marry a man who's been cheating on her with her own mother. Tyler took a step forward, aggressive. You tell anyone about this and I'll tell them you're harassing me. I'll tell them you're jealous because your wife chose a younger man. I'll tell them, try me, I said. My voice dropped, cold. You want to make this public, Tyler? You want everyone to know what you did? Go ahead. See how that works out for you. He stared at me, realized I wasn't bluffing. Rebecca loves me, he said. Quieter now? We're getting married in June. She's already sent out the invitations. No, I said. She's not. I got in my car, drove home, ordered the paternity test that night from my home office while Kathleen slept in our bedroom. The LabCorp envelope would arrive in 2 weeks, and then everything would change. 2 weeks can feel like 2 years when you're waiting for an envelope that's going to destroy your life. I'd arranged for the test results to be sent to Father Patrick's office at St. Catherine's, neutral territory. I couldn't risk them arriving at school, couldn't risk Kathleen finding them at home. Father Patrick had been our family priest for 15 years. He'd baptized Rebecca, married Kathleen and me. He'd seen us through my mother's stroke 3 years ago. You sure you want to do this? He'd asked when I'd called him. I need to know the truth. Sometimes the truth costs more than we expect to pay, Daniel. I know. Those 2 weeks I kept teaching, kept showing up. Michelle noticed something was wrong. Of course she did. She'd worked with me for 8 years, knew when I was faking the smile. Boss, she'd said one morning, catching me alone in the teacher's lounge. You okay? You seem off. Just tired, graduation prep. She didn't believe me, but she didn't push. I watched Rebecca during those 2 weeks. She'd stop by the house for dinner on Wednesdays, bring takeout, tell us about her first graders. She was so excited about the wedding. June 15th, just 16 weeks away. She'd shown us the invitation proofs, cream cardstock with gold foil script. Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Martinez request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter Rebecca Lynn to Tyler James Caldwell. Thick paper, textured. The gold foil was raised. You could feel it when you ran your finger across. Rebecca had paper-clipped a handwritten note to it. Dad, does this look okay? I'd told her it was perfect. I'd lied. Every time I saw Tyler at school events, every time he waved and called me Principal Martinez, with that respectful tone, I wanted to throw up. He was playing a part. We all were. This performance of normalcy while everything rotted underneath. The envelope arrived on a Tuesday morning. Father Patrick called me. Daniel, it's here. I left school during my lunch period, told Michelle I had an appointment, drove to St. Catherine's with my hands shaking on the steering wheel. Father Patrick was waiting in his office, small room, lined with books, wooden crucifix on the wall. The envelope was sitting on his desk, white, LabCorp logo in blue. Thicker than a regular envelope, medical-grade paper. I haven't opened it, he said. I picked it up. You could feel the weight of what was inside before opening it. The clinic's logo was embossed. You could trace it with your fingertip. When I held it up to the light, there was a security pattern inside. Tiny repeating logos meant to prevent forgery. The envelope made a soft rustling sound when I turned it. My hands were shaking. The paper rattled. I tore it open. The results were on standard letterhead, clinical language, black Arial font, cold and factual. Probability of paternity, 99.8%. Tyler James Caldwell cannot be excluded as the biological father. I had to read it 3 times before it sank in, even though I'd known, even though there'd been no real doubt. Seeing it in writing, official, medical, irrefutable, that was different. Father Patrick read over my shoulder. Long silence. "I'm so sorry, Daniel." I couldn't speak, couldn't move, just stood there holding this piece of paper that confirmed my wife had been lying to me for months, that the baby she was carrying belonged to the man my daughter was supposed to marry. "Daniel," Father Patrick said. His voice was careful. "There's something you need to know." I looked up. "Kathleen came to me 3 months ago in confession." He paused. "She told me about the affair, about Tyler. She was already pregnant. She didn't know whose baby it was, or she claimed she didn't." The words took a moment to process. 3 months. You knew for 3 months? Confessional seal. I can't break it, even to warn you. So you just watched. My voice was rising. You watched me go to church every Sunday with my wife. You watched me shake Tyler's hand. You watched Rebecca plan her wedding, and you said nothing. I begged Kathleen to tell you. Every week for 3 months I begged her. I told her she needed to come clean before. Before what? Before the wedding? Before the baby came? When, Patrick? He looked down. I'm bound by the seal of confession, Daniel. Without it, no one would ever confess their sins. No one would ever seek forgiveness. She didn't seek forgiveness. I held up the test results. She sought cover. She wanted you to keep her secret while she figured out how to make me think the baby was mine. Father Patrick's face crumpled. You're right, and I failed. I failed you, and I failed my calling. I've been praying every day that she'd find the courage. She didn't repent, though. I cut him off. She kept going, kept lying, kept planning to marry Tyler to my daughter while carrying his baby. We stood there in silence, 2 men who'd both failed, him by law, me by denial. Finally, Father Patrick spoke. What are you going to do? I have to tell Rebecca. Are you sure? Maybe if you wait for what? Until the wedding day? Until Tyler's vows? Until my daughter is legally bound to a man who's been cheating on her with her own mother? She's going to be devastated. I know. My voice broke. But she deserves the truth. She deserves better than what we gave her, this performance of happiness built on lies. Father Patrick put his hand on my shoulder. I'm so sorry, Daniel. You deserve better from your wife, and better from your priest. I looked at him, saw the tears in his eyes. Will you still marry Rebecca? I asked. Whenever she finds someone real? Of course. His voice was thick. And I'll be honored. I folded the test results, put them in my jacket pocket. I need to go tell my daughter that her life is about to fall apart. I asked Rebecca to meet me at my office after school. She taught first grade at Riverside Elementary, just 15 minutes away. She arrived around 4 p.m., still in her teaching clothes, cardigan and slacks, lanyard with her school ID around her neck. Hey, Dad! She was smiling, had her papers to grade in a tote bag. What's up? Is this about the wedding? Did you talk to the caterer? My office suddenly felt too small. The crystal apple on my desk caught the afternoon light, her teaching award from last year. Rebecca Martinez, Excellence in Elementary Education, 2024. The crystal scattered little rainbow flecks across my desk. When you picked it up, it was heavier than it looked, substantial, real. She'd been so proud when they gave it to her. Sit down, sweetheart. Her smile faded. Dad, you're scaring me. I need to tell you something that's going to hurt. She set down her tote bag, sat slowly in the chair across from my desk. What happened? Is it Grandma? Is she? Your mother is pregnant. Rebecca blinked. What? But you two haven't? She stopped. Her face changed. Oh my God, Dad. It's not mine, baby. Then whose? She froze. I watched understanding dawn on her face, horror replacing confusion. No, you're lying. You're lying because you're jealous that I found someone. I slid the envelope across my desk. I have the paternity test, and phone records, and gym footage, and texts. 8 months worth of texts, Rebecca, starting the night of your engagement party. Her hands were shaking when she opened the envelope, read the results, once, Twice, 3 times. Then the tears came. Not gentle crying, the kind of sobbing that comes from your chest, from somewhere deep and broken. She crumpled forward, papers falling from her lap. No, 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 no. We were supposed to, June 15th. We had the church, we had the venue, we picked out baby names. Dad, I picked out baby names. I came around the desk, pulled her up into my arms. She collapsed against me, sobbing into my shoulder like she was 6 years old again instead of 26. Daddy, I don't understand. How could Mommy do this? How could Tyler? He said he loved me. We were going to have kids. I was going to be a wife. I thought... Her voice broke completely. I thought I'd finally have what you and Mom had. I thought that's what love looked like. But if you couldn't make it, if Mom could do this, then how am I supposed to believe marriage is real? How am I supposed to get married without believing love is real? I held her tighter. Let her cry. Let her break. What else could I do? Love is real, baby girl, I said finally. My own voice was shaking. That's why this hurts so much. Your mom and I, we weren't real anymore. I don't know when we stopped being real, but you and David... Tyler, she corrected automatically. No. I pulled back, looked at her face. You're not marrying Tyler. You can't. But the wedding? There's not going to be a wedding. Not to him. She stared at me. Did you know? How long did you know? 2 weeks. I told you as soon as I had proof. I wasn't going to let you marry him without knowing. You let me hate you for 2 weeks? Her voice was small. I'd let you hate me forever if it meant you knew the truth before you made a mistake. She looked at the teaching award on my desk, the crystal apple. I can't even look at that anymore, she whispered. I thought I learned how to be a teacher from you, how to care about people, how to help kids. But I think what I really learned was how to enable, how to make excuses, how to pretend everything's fine when it's falling apart. No, I said firmly. You learn to teach with love. That's different from enabling. I'm the one who confused them. I spent 15 years enabling your mother's drinking, making excuses, finding wine bottles and saying nothing. That's on me, not you. She wiped her eyes, took a shaky breath. I need to see him. I need to hear him say it. Rebecca, Dad, I need to look at his face when I ask him if it's true. I wanted to protect her from that, but she was 26, an adult, a teacher. She had a right to confront the man who'd betrayed her. Do you want me to come with you? She shook her head. Amy will take me. Amy Park, her best friend since college, maid of honor. Rebecca stood, picked up her tote bag, looked at me with red swollen eyes. Thank you for telling me, she said, even though it destroyed everything. Thank you for not letting me walk down that aisle. Then she left. I sat alone in my office, looking at that crystal apple, picked it up, felt the weight of it in my hand. All those years trying to be a good father, a good principal, a good mentor, teaching kids about character and consequences, and I couldn't even see what was happening in my own home. Rebecca went to Tyler's apartment that night. Amy drove her, told me later that Rebecca insisted on going alone. She'd wait in the car. I don't know everything that was said. Rebecca told me pieces later, when she could talk without crying. She'd knocked on the door. Tyler had opened it, surprised to see her. They were supposed to have dinner the next night. We need to talk, Rebecca had said. He'd let her in. His apartment was small, 1 bedroom, weight equipment in the corner, protein shakes on the counter. There was a photo on his office wall, him and some of the youth group kids from last summer's camp. He volunteered sometimes, gave back to the community. All of it was a lie. My dad told me something today, Rebecca said, about you and my mom. Tyler's face went white. Becca, listen. Is it true? It's not what you think. Is it true? He'd tried to lie, told her Daniel was jealous, was making things up, was trying to break them up because he couldn't handle Rebecca having her own life. There's a paternity test, Rebecca said. Her voice was ice. 99.8%. Your baby, my mom's baby, your baby. Tyler had slumped into a chair, put his head in his hands. It just happened, he'd said. We didn't plan it. She was lonely. Your dad was never there. She needed... Don't. Rebecca's voice cut through. Don't you dare blame my father. You slept with my mother while we were engaged, while I was planning our wedding, while I was picking out baby names. I love you, Tyler said. I do love you. We can still... Rebecca pulled the wedding invitation out of her purse, the proof the printer had sent. Cream cardstock with gold foil script. Thick, textured paper. She'd been carrying it around, showing it to people, asking their opinions. Mr. and Mrs. Daniel Martinez request the honor of your presence at the marriage of their daughter, Rebecca Lynn, to Tyler James Caldwell, June 15th, 2025. She threw it at him. It fluttered to the floor between them. We were going to have kids, she said. I picked out baby names. I had a Pinterest board for our nursery. I was going to be your wife. Her voice broke. I thought you loved me. I thought we were building a life. We can still build? No. She turned toward the door. We can't. Because everything we built was on top of your lies, and my mother's lies, and I don't know what's real anymore. She'd walked out. Amy was waiting in the car. They'd sat there for 20 minutes while Rebecca cried. Then she called me. Dad, she said. Her voice was hollow. I need to stay with Amy for a while. I can't go home. I can't see Mom. I can't. Okay, baby, that's okay. The wedding's canceled. I don't know how to tell everyone. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything yet. Just breathe. I don't know how to breathe anymore. The rumors started the next day. Small town, high school, 2,000 students and a staff of 140. People talk. Tyler had been helping coach football, had been around the school. Students had seen him with Rebecca. Everyone knew they were engaged. Now suddenly Tyler wasn't showing up to conditioning sessions. Rebecca wasn't wearing her ring. People noticed. And some people, parents, had started putting pieces together. Kathleen was showing now, 4 months along. People had seen her and Tyler at the gym together, had seen them at restaurants. Small towns don't forget. By Friday, I had a school board meeting scheduled, emergency closed session. Item 11, discussion of personnel matter. My name was on the agenda. The meeting was at 6 p.m. in the district office. 7 board members. Michelle came as vice principal, my representative. The board chair, Dr. Patricia Williams, superintendent, looked uncomfortable. Principal Martinez, she said, we've received complaints from several parents regarding personal matters that may affect your ability to lead Riverside High. What kind of complaints? Allegations of family instability, questions about whether you can maintain professional objectivity given certain rumors circulating in the community. Michelle stood up. Dr. Williams, with all due respect, I don't think this board wants to open a discussion about faculty members' personal lives as grounds for professional evaluation. This is different. How? Michelle's voice was sharp. Because people are gossiping? Because Principal Martinez's wife made choices that hurt him? Are we really going to punish him for being a victim of infidelity? One of the board members, Mr. Chen, father of 3 Riverside students, cleared his throat. I think what we're concerned about is the nature of the relationship. The young man involved was a student here. There are optics. Tyler Caldwell graduated 10 years ago, I said. My voice was calm, controlled. He was 18 when he left this school. He's 28 now. Whatever relationship he has had with my wife began when he was an adult. There's no violation of any policy here. But your daughter, my daughter is also an adult. And yes, she was engaged to him. That engagement is now over, because when I learned the truth, I told her. I didn't cover it up. I didn't lie. I did exactly what I teach my students to do. I faced the consequences and told the truth. Silence around the table. Dr. Williams looked at her notes. Some parents are concerned about how this reflects on school leadership. Then tell them this, I said. Tell them that their principal discovered his wife was having an affair, that he didn't sweep it under the rug, that he didn't sign a birth certificate for a child that wasn't his just to save face, that he told his daughter the truth, even though it broke her heart. Tell them that actions have consequences, and I'm living those consequences in front of the entire community. I pulled out my speech notes, the index cards, worn soft from 12 years of carrying them. I've given the same speech to students every year at assembly. Actions have consequences, but consequences build character. I've said those words to thousands of kids. Now I'm living them. And yes, it's hard. Yes, it's public. Yes, it's humiliating. But I'm not going to lie to protect myself. Because if I teach character, I have to live it. Michelle was nodding. Mr. Chen looked thoughtful. Dr. Williams sighed. Principal Martinez, I think I speak for the board when I say we recognize this is a difficult personal situation. We're not suggesting any professional misconduct on your part. Then what are you suggesting? We're asking if you're able to continue in your role. Graduation is coming up. That's a major community event. 525 graduating seniors, 3,000 people in attendance. Can you deliver the speech? Can you lead that ceremony given everything happening in your personal life? I thought about it. About standing in front of 3,000 people while my marriage fell apart, while my daughter's engagement crumbled, while my wife carried another man's child. Yes, I said, I can. Because those 525 seniors deserve a principal who shows up, who tells them the truth about life, that it's hard, that people disappoint you, that you'll fail sometimes, but you keep going. You face it. The board voted, 7-0. I kept my job. But as I walked out, I knew the hardest part was still coming. The graduation speech, May 30th. 6 weeks away. What was I going to say? Monday morning, I was in my office reviewing transcripts when someone knocked. Come in. Sandra Caldwell walked in. She was Tyler's mother, 56 years old, school nurse. She'd worked at Riverside for 15 years, saw every scraped knee, every fever, every panic attack. She knew these kids. She also knew her son. Principal Martinez. Her voice was tight. Can we talk? I gestured to the chair. She sat down heavily, looked at her hands. Gary told me what happened, what my son did. I didn't say anything. I'm so ashamed, she continued. Tears were starting. I raised him alone after his father left. I thought I taught him better. I thought, Sandra, no, please, let me finish. She looked up. Her eyes were red. Daniel, there's something you should know. Tyler had an affair in Colorado. That's why he moved back here. I went still. Before Riverside, he was working at a gym in Boulder, had an affair with a married woman, one of his clients. It went on for months. Her husband found out, threatened him. Tyler left town to avoid the fallout. He has a pattern. Yes. She wiped her eyes. And I didn't tell anyone. When he moved back, when he started dating Rebecca, I hoped he'd changed. But he hasn't. He's still the same. He finds married women. He seduces them. He destroys families. Why are you telling me this? Because I'll testify. Her voice was firm now. Against my own son. If you need me to tell the court, tell a lawyer, tell anyone, I'll do it. Because you're right. Actions have consequences. And I have 2,100 kids in this building who need to see that, even when it's your own child, you don't cover up the truth. I stared at her. This woman who'd bandaged scraped knees for 15 years, who'd held crying students, who'd called parents when kids were sick, and she was willing to testify against her own son. Sandra, he needs to face what he's done, and I need to stop making excuses for him. She stood. Thank you for not covering this up. Thank you for being the man those kids think you are. She left. I sat alone in my office, thought about all the wine bottles I'd found over the years, all the times I'd said nothing, all the excuses I'd made. Some of the hardest truths come from unexpected places. If you've ever had to choose between loyalty and honesty, type honesty or loyalty below. There's no easy answer, but I was starting to understand that love without truth wasn't love at all. It was just another lie we tell ourselves to avoid the hard work of healing. That night, I went to St. Catherine's, found Father Patrick in the sanctuary. He was alone, sitting in the front pew, head bowed. Daniel, he looked up. I wasn't expecting you. I need to talk. We sat together in silence for a moment. The sanctuary was quiet, candles flickering near the altar, stained glass windows dark in the evening light. Sandra came to see me today, I said. Tyler's mother, I heard. She's willing to testify against him, to tell people he's done this before, in Colorado. Father Patrick nodded slowly. That takes courage. She said I was right, about consequences, about not covering up the truth. You were right. Then why does it feel like I'm destroying everything? My voice cracked. My marriage is over. My daughter won't speak to her mother. Rebecca's wedding is canceled. The whole community is gossiping. And in 6 weeks, I have to stand in front of 3,000 people and give a graduation speech about character, while my own life is falling apart. Father Patrick put his hand on my shoulder. Because doing the right thing doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. It just means you're not compounding the hurt with more lies. Kathleen confessed to you 3 months ago. You knew, and you couldn't tell me. I know, and I've been carrying that for 3 months, praying every day that she'd find the courage, watching you at Mass, watching Rebecca plan her wedding, knowing what was coming. Did you fail? I asked. As a priest? I don't know. His voice was thick. I kept the seal of confession. That's my duty. But I also let you walk into this blind. I let Rebecca get deeper into that engagement. I didn't find another way to warn you. So, yes, maybe I failed. We both sat there, two men who'd both failed in different ways. I haven't slept in 3 months, Father Patrick said quietly. Every night, I pray for all of you, for Kathleen to repent, for Rebecca to be spared, for you to find out before it was too late. And now we're here. Now you're here, and you're facing it. You're not running. You're not covering it up. You're living those words you say to students. I pulled out my speech cards, the index cards I'd been carrying for 12 years, looked at my own handwriting. Actions have consequences, but consequences build character. I've said these words so many times, I whispered, to thousands of kids, but I never thought I'd have to prove them like this. That's what makes it real, Father Patrick said. Anyone can preach when life is easy. Living it when everything falls apart, that's when it matters. I don't know what to say at graduation. You'll know when the time comes. We sat in silence. Finally, Father Patrick spoke again. I'm so sorry, Daniel. You deserved better from your wife, and better from your priest. I looked at him, saw the tears on his face. Will you still marry Rebecca? I asked. Whenever she finds someone real? Of course, and I'll be honored. We sat there together in the dark sanctuary, two broken men. Praying for wisdom we didn't have, for strength we weren't sure we possessed, for the courage to face May 30th, when 3,000 people would be watching, and I'd have to decide what kind of man I really was. The divorce papers were filed on March 15th, California, community property state. Kathleen tried to claim I was abandoning her while pregnant. Her lawyer sent letters about emotional distress, about my refusal to support her during a vulnerable time. My lawyer, Bobby Chen, Harvard law grad, sharp as a knife, sent back the paternity test results and phone records. The letters stopped. Tyler, meanwhile, had gone quiet, stopped showing up at the school, stopped posting on Instagram. Rebecca blocked him on everything, changed her locks. Amy had helped her move into a small apartment near the elementary school. She wasn't speaking to Kathleen, wouldn't return her calls. Kathleen checked herself into rehab. 30 days, said she needed to get healthy for the baby. I didn't know if she meant it or if it was another performance, another attempt to look like the victim. I didn't care anymore. For 6 weeks I taught, I worked, I prepared for graduation. I avoided questions from concerned parents, from students who'd heard rumors, from staff who didn't know what to say. Michelle ran interference. Principal Martinez is handling a personal matter with grace and professionalism. Let's focus on our students. And I wrote, rewrote, threw away, started over. The graduation speech. May 30th was approaching like a freight train. I'd given this speech 12 times. I had the note cards. I knew what to say, except I didn't. Because this year was different. This year I'd learned that all my words about character meant nothing if I didn't live them when it cost me everything. Then Tyler made his move. It was a Wednesday morning, 3 weeks before graduation. I was in my office reviewing the ceremony program when my phone started buzzing. Text after text, email after email. Michelle burst through my door. Boss, check Instagram now. Tyler had posted a photo from Rebecca's engagement party, the one from 8 months ago. Rebecca and Tyler in the center, smiling, happy. That night when the affair had started, when everything had begun to fall apart. The caption, some people can't handle when younger men win. Stay strong, Becca Martinez. Your dad's just jealous. The truth will come out. Stay strong, Mias Eshukas. Yash, real love. Haters gonna hate. He'd tagged Rebecca, tagged his 35,000 followers. Within an hour, 5,000 likes. 800 comments. Students were sharing it. Parents were sharing it. People from the community. Half the comments defended me. Parents who knew me students who respected me, staff members using their personal accounts. Principal Martinez is one of the most honest men I know. Tyler Caldwell is trash. We all know what he did. Standing with Principal M. Real character is facing your pain, not hiding from it. But the other half, why is a high school principal going after a former student? Sounds like someone's jealous his wife chose a younger guy. This screams bitter old man energy. Leave Tyler alone. He's just trying to live his life. My phone was exploding. Students were talking about it in the halls. Teachers were asking if they should address it in class. I sat at my desk looking at that photo. Rebecca's smile, Tyler's arm around her. Both of them so happy, so sure of their future. While he was texting my wife, while they were planning to meet outside, while they were destroying everything, Michelle was still standing in my doorway. What do you want to do? Document it, I said. My voice was cold, calm. Screenshot everything, every comment, every share. Send it all to Bobby. That's it? That's it. I'm not going to fight him on social media. I'm not going to defend myself in Instagram comments. He wants to control the narrative? Let him try. Boss, Tyler just committed witness intimidation and defamation in writing, with 35,000 witnesses. Bobby can use this. Michelle's expression changed. You're playing chess while he's playing checkers. I'm not playing at all. I'm just letting him dig his own grave. By that afternoon, Bobby had filed for a restraining order, harassment, defamation, attempting to damage my professional reputation. The Instagram post was Exhibit A. Tyler deleted it 6 hours after posting. Too late. We had screenshots, timestamps, every comment. The judge granted the temporary restraining order the next morning. Tyler couldn't come within 500 feet of me, Rebecca, or Riverside High School. He moved to Colorado a week later, ran away from the consequences. Just like his pattern, May 30th. Graduation day. I woke up at 5 a.m., couldn't sleep. Sat in my kitchen with coffee, looking at those index cards, the speech notes I'd carried for 12 years. Actions have consequences, but consequences build character. I'd said these words so many times they'd become smooth, easy, a platitude that students nodded along to, forgot by lunch, remembered when they got caught cheating or skipping class. But this year, those words had teeth. I thought about calling in sick, asking Michelle to give the speech, telling the board I couldn't do it. But that would be running. That would be letting Tyler win, letting shame win. And I'd told 2,100 students for 12 years that we face our consequences. Time to prove it. The football stadium by 1 p.m. was already filling up. Folding chairs on the field for 525 graduating seniors in Bankis. Bleachers packed with families. 3,000 people, maybe more. Hot sun, late May in California. I stood backstage in my suit, sweating, not from the heat. Michelle found me. You ready? No? Good. That means it matters. She squeezed my shoulder. They need to see this, Daniel. All of them. They need to see you stand up there and tell the truth. What if I can't? You can, because you're not doing this for you. You're doing it for every kid out there who's going to face something hard and needs to know their principal wasn't a hypocrite. The ceremony started. National anthem, valedictorian speech, salutatorian, awards, the usual program. Then, please welcome Principal Daniel Martinez. I walked to the podium. 525 seniors in front rows, 3,000 people in the stands. Every face turned toward me. I pulled out my note cards, looked at them, looked at my handwriting from 12 years ago, the speech I'd given 12 times before. Then I set them aside. I've given this speech 12 times as your principal, I said. My voice carried across the stadium. Students leaned forward. It's about character and consequences, about becoming adults. But this year, I need to tell you something different. Silence. You could hear the wind. This year, I learned that character isn't just for students. It's for principals too, and parents, and everyone who stands up here and tells you how to live your life. Some students were nodding. They knew, of course they knew. They'd seen the Instagram post. They'd heard the rumors. I've always told you that actions have consequences, that cheating, lying, and betraying trust will catch up to you. And you've probably thought, easy for Mr. M to say, he's got it all together, he doesn't understand. Pause. let it breathe. This spring, someone I trusted, someone I wrote a recommendation letter for 10 years ago, someone I celebrated as a man of character, betrayed that trust in the worst possible way. And it affected my family. It affected my daughter. It tested everything I've ever taught you. I could see Rebecca in the stands. She'd come. Amy was sitting next to her, both of them crying. And I had a choice. I could cover it up, sign documents that weren't true, pretend everything was fine, give everyone the perfect ending they wanted to see. My voice was shaking now, but I didn't stop. But I couldn't. Because if I teach you that truth matters, and then I don't live it myself, then every word I've ever said to you was a lie. A student in the front row stood up, started clapping, then another, then another. Within seconds, the entire senior class was on its feet. Then the families in the stands. 3,000 people standing, applauding. I stood there, tears visible, holding those note cards I hadn't needed. So yes, I said when the applause died down. My family fell apart this year. Yes, there won't be a wedding. Yes, people in this community are gossiping. But I'm standing here anyway, because consequences build character, for all of us. I looked at the graduating class. Class of 2025, go be people of character. Even when it costs you everything, especially when it costs you everything, because that's when it matters most. Another standing ovation. Longer this time, louder. I saw students recording on their phones, saw the tears on their faces, saw Rebecca standing in the stands, clapping with her hands above her head. The speech went viral that night. Students posted it to TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. By Monday morning, 2 million views. Comments flooded in. This is what real leadership looks like. Principal of the year. I'm not crying, you're crying. We need more men like this. And one comment from a username I didn't recognize. Mr. M always said, actions have consequences, but consequences build character. Guess that applies to everyone, even principals. Respect. October. The baby was born. A girl, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Kathleen had completed rehab, 30 days, then 90 days. She was 8 months sober now, living in a small apartment downtown, attending AA meetings, working with a sponsor. Tyler never came back. Sent a lawyer to contest paternity. Said Kathleen must have been with multiple men, the test must be wrong. Bobby ordered a second test. Court ordered this time. Tyler had to provide DNA. 99.8%, his baby, no question. He signed away parental rights, wanted nothing to do with her. Moved to Colorado and disappeared, coward. Sandra came to me in July. Her face was different than that day in my office. Less shame, more resolve. I want to adopt her, she said. My granddaughter, Tyler's daughter. Sandra, I know what Tyler did. I know who he is. But that baby girl didn't do anything wrong. She's my blood. And my partner Rita and I, we've been talking. We lost our daughter Lucy to leukemia 2 years ago. She was 3. Her voice broke. We've been in grief therapy. We can't have more children biologically. But we could love this baby. We could give her the stability Tyler never had, the honesty, the truth. I thought about it. About that baby girl, innocent, born into chaos and betrayal. Does Kathleen agree? Yes, she knows she can't raise a child right now. She's still working on her sobriety. She's not ready. But she wants the baby to stay in the family. She wants her to know her story eventually, not as shame, but as truth. What about Rebecca? I talked to her. She said, Sandra pulled out her phone, read from a text. Tell Grandma Sandra that baby deserves better than all of us gave her. She deserves love without lies. The adoption ceremony was small. November, St. Catherine's. Just close family, Sandra and Rita in front. Kathleen present, sober, tearful. Rebecca came with me. Father Patrick officiated. The baby was in Sandra's arms, tiny, perfect, wrapped in a pink blanket. Father Patrick blessed them, said words about family and redemption and second chances. Then he looked at me. Daniel, would you like to say anything? I hadn't planned to, but I stepped forward, looked at that baby girl, at Sandra, at Rita, at Kathleen, sober for the first time in 15 years, at Rebecca, holding my hand. This child was conceived in brokenness, I said. My voice was quiet, born into lies and betrayal and pain. But she's being raised in love, real love, the kind that tells the truth, that faces consequences, that doesn't look away when things get hard. Sandra was crying, Rita was crying, Kathleen was crying. That's what redemption looks like. It doesn't erase the pain, but it gives it meaning. Sandra held the baby closer. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for loving her enough to let the truth matter." I looked at Rebecca. She squeezed my hand. "Love her with truth," I said. "That's all any of us can do." Daniel and Rebecca redefined what family means. Not who you're born to, but who shows up, who tells you the truth even when it's hard, who chooses to sit in those stands. If you've built your own chosen family, the people who showed up when blood relatives didn't, tell me about them in the comments. I read everyone. And if this story moved you, subscribe. I tell stories about people who chose truth over comfort. Real people, real choices, real consequences. I'll see you in the next one. Spring, next year. I'm coaching JV baseball again. Tuesday afternoon practice. The kids are getting good. Their swings are improving. Their teamwork is solid. I'm standing on the field, watching them drill, shouting encouragement. And in the stands, Rebecca. She didn't tell me she was coming, just showed up, brought a book to grade papers between innings, sitting in the same spot she used to sit when she was 10 years old, watching her dad coach. But she's not 10 anymore. She's 27, first grade teacher, single, in therapy, healing, and she's not here because she has to be. She's here because she chose to be. That's the difference. Sandra pulls up in her car, gets out with Rita. They have the baby in a stroller, almost 6 months old now, growing fast, healthy. They wave at me from the stands. I wave back. The baby has Tyler's eyes, Sandra's smile. She'll never know Tyler. He signed away that right. But she'll know Sandra and Rita. She'll know truth. She'll know love that doesn't run when things get hard. My team wins the scrimmage, not by much, but they played with heart. After practice, Rebecca comes down to the field. We walk to the parking lot together. "I'm seeing someone," she says, casual. "Another teacher at my school, 3rd grade. His name is Marcus." "Yeah? We're taking it slow, but he's good, Dad. He's honest. He doesn't play games." "I'm happy for you, sweetheart." She smiles. "I wanted to give you this." She pulls something from her bag, the crystal apple, her teaching award. "I can't have this at my place anymore," she says. "But I want you to have it, in your office, because you taught me what teaching really means, not from a textbook, from how you lived." I take it, feel the weight of it. The crystal catches the afternoon light. "You know," Rebecca says, "I spent my whole life asking you to just do this one thing for me, and you always did. You always made it easy." She pauses. "But the best thing you ever did for me was the one time you said no." We stand there in the parking lot, father and daughter, broken and healing. "You're worth telling the truth to," I say. She hugs me, tight. "I know, Dad. I finally know." Monday morning, back at Riverside High. The crystal apple is on my desk again. The index cards are in my pocket. I have a new assembly scheduled for next week, the usual speech, actions and consequences, character and growth. But this time, the words feel different. Not because they've changed, but because I have. I've learned that you can lose everything you built and still keep everything you are. That consequences aren't punishment, they're teachers. That love without truth is just another lie we tell ourselves. And that sometimes the hardest lesson you'll ever teach is the one your own family needs to learn. I pick up the note cards, look at my handwriting. Actions have consequences, but consequences build character. I don't cross it out, don't throw it away. I add one more line. And character is what you become when you choose truth over comfort. Next week, I'll give that speech to 2,100 students, and this time, I'll mean every word.